Hello, and welcome to the final episode of the semester.
In 2017.
The final episode of 2017 of the Second String, your best source on the campus of UNL for college football and all things college football tangentially related.
Yeah, we might have to start spreading into some other sports with the college football season winding down.
It's possible. It is certainly possible.
But still a lot to discuss in college football, Nate.
A lot. I'm your host, Nate Milbach. Joining me is Alex. A pretty good quarterback in flag football, Fernando.
Oh, dominated today.
He threw me a couple good passes. Don't get me wrong.
You had a crazy sideline catch too.
I did. It was a nice one. But we're not here to talk about how good we are at football. We're here to talk about how good other people are at football.
That is so true. And speaking of good, we got a lot of good bowl matchups to talk about later in the show.
Exactly. We were going to call this our bowl blowout, but then we realized we had a lot of other stuff to talk about, too.
We got Scott Frost updates, Nebraska recruiting, you know what? Tennessee filled a coaching position.
Let's just talk about that first now.
They found somebody. Pruitt.
Jeremy Pruitt.
Bama defensive coordinator.
The Saban coaching tree.
Yeah, just keep on rolling through. No, I think pretty solid pickup by Tennessee. Again, still surprised somebody really wanted to go there after that whole mess.
I'm not that surprised. It's not a top spot, I don't think, now because of that whole mess that I think is mostly on the shoulders of the administration and the boosters.
Yeah.
Is the main reason for all the problems. But I'm not shocked that somebody still wanted to go there for a decent contract. And I don't know how good Pruitt is.
He's Bama's defensive coordinator.
But for somebody to want to go there after all that transpired, I think it's kind of as good as Tennessee was going to get.
Yeah,
right now, in my opinion,
I would say so. Good pickup. He's not a bad assistant coach by any means. He runs a great defense with Alabama. They're one of the top defenses in the nation. Yeah, and still have a lot of injuries. So
exactly, he's an up and comer. He's about as nice of a coordinator as you'll find in the nation, and I think they came out of this whole scenario relatively well. Their recruiting class looks like it might be getting a little poached here, but coaching transition recruiting classes, as we've seen in the last few months as a Nebraska fan, are just really rough in general.
Yeah, recruiting with coaching changes is just a mess to begin with. Recruiting's a mess on its own, but you add in changing schools, trying to pull away your commits from your current school to your new school. It gets really messy.
It's pretty rough, but I think good for the Vols for picking up a big-name coordinator hire, a guy who has a lot of potential. A lot of people were talking about Kirby Smart a few years ago going, wow, I don't know if he's going to be successful. Saban coordinators, not so hot of a track record. I don't know about this, and he's proven them wrong, so why not Pruitt?
Yeah,
I think it's as good as hire as Tennessee is going to get at this point.
I would say so for sure. They don't have their hat in the ring for another big name at this point in time.
No, especially not this late in the coaching search.
Yeah, when they missed out on so many opportunities, it's not going to happen.
Exactly, but good for them. Wanted to get that one out of the way real fast. Now let's move on to Scott Frost news.
Oh, man, it's chilly.
It's chilly.
Oh, loving that chilling Lincoln Scott Frost.
It's been an interesting couple of days in recruiting.
Yep.
Josh Moore decommitted, which was expected. We basically severed all of his connections with the old coaching staff. So I don't particularly blame him for wanting to leave. But to make up for that, we got a couple of good guys. Jerron Woodyard, the JUCO guy. Apparently he has 2, maybe 3 years left to play for us. He runs a 4.3 40.
Yeah, very fast, shifty guy.
Apparently he'll be
a lot kind of like J.D. Spielman, early DeMornay Pearsonell kind of guys.
Yeah, apparently if that's a legit time, which I think I'm remembering it correctly, he's the 3rd fastest guy on our team, which is something we need. He's basically got the same exact body type as J.D. Spielman.
Yep.
He's very J.D. Spielman-esque. His highlight reel is, I think, pretty amazing.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. Definitely want to go look into it some more, but I thought, again, very impressive player. Good skill set, a lot of speed on the outside, which is going to help us, especially with Scott Frost and his spread system coming in. One recruit I was really excited to see commit, Justin McGriff, 6'6", 210 wide receiver. I don't know. I love seeing size on the outside. We haven't had a big-bodied receiver in quite a while. I mean, we have
he's
Stanley.
technically a tight end.
It's technically a tight. I mean,
I think you'll see play at receiver.
I think he could flex out a little bit. So, I mean, just having a bigger-bodied guy out there, blocking-wise, catching-wise, you throw up to the corner of the end zone with a 6'6" guy, I give you 7 out of 10 times he's coming down with that ball. I don't know. I'm excited for Justin McGriff. We had a couple. We had C.J. Smith, 4-star safety, commit to us. So I mean, like we kind of said, I mean, recruiting turnover when you get all these coaching changes, it can get kind of hectic. I mean, you can blame coaches for like stealing a recruit back to their new school. I know a lot of people did that with P.J. Fleck last year, but a lot of those kids were going to go to Western Michigan to play for P.J. Fleck. I mean, and they wanted to play for him in Minnesota.
I mean, especially, you're talking about McGriff, and I showed you his tweet last night when he decommitted, and that was about as honest as you're going to get from a decommitting and recruiting. He basically said, I'm playing for Scott Frost, and I want to go play for Scott Frost.
Yeah.
So I'm decommitting because Scott Frost is no longer coaching at UCF.
Which, you got to give a lot of respect to the kid for that, in my opinion.
I think so, too.
Most of these kids, I mean, yeah, they can have their fun with their videos and stuff, but, I mean, they're just
they're 18. They're going to change their mind.
Yeah, they're going to change their mind.
I had different thoughts about what school I wanted to go to when I was 18, and I wasn't even going to play football or going to decide basically a 4-year career of where I was going to end up.
No, I mean, fans can get all uptight about it, and like, oh, they decommitted for this reason or that reason. But at the end of the day, they're going to make the decision that they want to make. And it's nice to see someone be upfront and honest about it, though.
Exactly.
Like, you know that there's some other recruits out there who are like, they're leaving because they're not going to be coached by Coach Dub or Dante Williams or stuff like that. And they're just not sure about this new coaching staff. So that's why they left. They may not have said that in their tweet or their decommitment post. But, I mean, again, kudos to McGriff for just saying, you know what? It's really about the coach for me. I really wanted to be with this coach.
Yeah.
UCF, Nebraska, the schools aren't as big a factor for me, which I think is somewhat of a mistake being a recruiter for both the university and for football. But just in general, again, he was honest. He wants to play for Scott Frost.
Yes, and I think that's honest, and I don't think I'm just saying that because he decommitted from somewhere else and committed here. I think I would respect their decision regardless.
If Josh Moore, Mario Goodrich, or anybody who had decommitted from us and just said, you know what, I was dedicated to this other coaching staff, and I'm not comfortable committing here with this new coaching staff moving in, I would respect that.
Yeah.
Again, you don't have to be happy about it. Yeah, we lost a ton of 4-star recruits that Riley had committed to us. But in the end, is going to move on. There's going to be new recruits coming through every year.
Exactly.
It's college football. There's new players every year, new faces every year. I mean, there's going to be more coaching changes next year, I'm sure.
You cannot get invested in 17, 18-year-olds.
Oh, definitely not.
And it's best to just step back and recognize that these kids are trying to do what's best for them. And some of them want to be here and coach under Scott Frost, and some of them don't. And, hey, that's okay.
Regardless, the ones that do come here, those are the ones you want to cheer for.
Exactly.
Like, just because they're not a big name, they don't got a fancy number of stars by them, does not mean that they're not going to be a great player.
Exactly.
I mean, J.J. Watt, he was a walk-on at Wisconsin.
Yes.
3-time Defensive Player of the Year in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. We want
Janovich, he was a walk-on here. Everybody loves him.
Exactly.
Starting fullback for the Broncos.
Stars do matter. Well, we're not trying to argue that, but
to a degree.
I guess.
I'm a work ethic kind of guy. Sorry, Nate.
No, I mean, you do. Coaching, in my opinion, outranks the talent of the players most of the time, in my opinion.
Okay.
But I think talent does matter. And speaking of talent, you talked about the 4 stars. We did get a 4-star to recruit here, C.J. Smith, out of nowhere. Because while he went on a visit to UCF, he wasn't particularly interested in them. And it kind of surprised me. He's big body, 6'1". Not 6'1". I think he's taller than 6'1".
6'3".
6'3", yeah, 6'3".
190.
He's got the dreadlocks.
The
my mother does not like people with dreads.
Oh
she tells me she wants to pull them, but
I don't know. Hey, little Richard Sherman style. Like I wouldn't mind having a Richard Sherman-esque player back there.
We need some swagger. The dreads bring the swagger. I'm fine with that. But yes, so he was looking at a P5 job. I think we mainly got him because on social media he was a big target of Oklahoma's.
Okay.
And a lot of Oklahoma fans were not happy that he was lost out because they think they're not going to get their starting safety, and they were kind of like roping him on the hook of like, hey, we kind of want you, but you're our second tier of guys, like, but stay interested, we might get you.
Yeah, just watching some of his film here. Again, he lines up pretty well. Obviously, going to be switching systems coming here, and a lot to learn once you jump from high school to college level. But big-bodied guy, as you mentioned, 6'3", about 200 pounds, good tackler. I don't know. We need help in the secondary, obviously. We lost a lot of leadership in the secondary with Kalu, Kyron Williams, Chris Jones all graduating. So I think that's a big addition for our defense and for our recruiting class.
Yeah, it'll be a good thing. We got a lot of players that are looking like they're lining up. Adrian Martinez might come here. Let's not get too excited yet, but he looks like he's gonna.
I want a dual threat quarterback, Nate. I love me some dual threat quarterbacks.
But he looks like he's gonna come here. Cameron Jones, I think. Cameron Jones, I think. He's another 4-star safety that's been getting a couple crystal balls for. And so Scott Frost, he's picking up some work. He's doing this, and our recruiting class is not going to be good this year.
It's not going to be phenomenal by any means. No.
But I think we just have to accept that as Husker fans.
It's going to take time. That's the biggest thing. No matter what kind of coaching change you have, everything's going to take some time.
Yes.
Recruiting's going to take some time to develop. Building a winning culture, winning a lot of games, getting to the championship, it takes time.
Yep.
We'll see how it goes.
I'm excited.
Speaking of time, once we have Scott Frost 100% of the time, we'll be really locked in.
Do you agree with him coaching UCF for the bowl game?
I personally like it for a couple reasons. One, I know it takes away from Nebraska and things like that, but he's had such a great season with them, and he's brought that team from the middle of nowhere to a phenomenal record and a phenomenal chance at a big win for the program. And so, one, I just think he should be able to finish that out with those players. And two, I think this could honestly be a big recruiting benefit for Nebraska.
That's the big thing for me. This is Nebraska advertising 101. I mean, you know what they're going to be talking about half the time in their bowl game?
Oh, more than half the time.
Scott Frost, he's a new coach at Nebraska.
That's all they're going to be talking about.
And I feel bad for UCF fans because they're going to be caught in that. And I really hate, as much as I love Scott Frost, I really hate the idea of, poaching their coach. I generally don't like, poaching bottom tier programs coaches. It just kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth most of the time. With Nebraska, you kind of have to be a little bit of a hypocrite and be like, this time's okay. But yeah, this is going to be a huge advertisement for Nebraska. If Scott Frost wins, Scott Frost is the greatest coach ever, trademark, hashtag not really. But people are going to see that. Maybe recruits are going to see that and say, Scott Frost, he could really coach. Maybe I should give Nebraska a look.
Yeah.
Maybe Nebraska made the right decision. This is going to be good for Nebraska. So I like it.
I'm okay with it. Again, people can go back and forth, like, why is he not spending more time recruiting, building the recruiting class? As you mentioned,
he's going to visit that Adrian Martinez tonight for a home visit. After he was coaching today.
He went up and visited the family. So it's not like he's not doing both jobs.
Exactly.
It's not like he's just saying, I'll put Nebraska on pause and come back to that.
No.
He's still working as a Husker. He's still working as their head coach.
100%.
But I mean, give UCF the ability to finish their phenomenal season with their coach.
Exactly.
And hopefully end on a high note, beat Auburn in the Peach Bowl.
Yeah, I'm rooting for them.
Oh, for sure.
They're one of my favorite teams I've watched this season.
Oh, it's been amazing to watch them, especially those last couple games. Two of the best games of the entire college football season, hands down.
I've been incredibly excited to watch those games. They were so exciting. I watched them over Nebraska. That's how excited I was about their team.
Well, there wasn't a whole lot to watch with Nebraska, but no, I mean, again, I think it's going to be good overall. Long term, it's not gonna matter that much. He's gonna come back to Lincoln. He's Nebraska's head coach.
The recruiting class is not going to be.
Season.
It's not going to be that good, anyways.
It's not, just because he's here 100% of the time isn't going to flip any big star recruits.
No,
like
if
he's still going to tell him like, "Hey, I'm going to Nebraska. I'm finishing my season with my boys." And if anything, that's a big recruiting draw. Like to see how dedicated a coach is and be like, "Wow, this guy's going to stick through every season with me." As a recruit, like if I'm a recruit looking at that, I'm like, this coach is dedicated. He's going back to his old team to finish that, even though this other team's paying him a ton of money and saying, "Hey, come work for us."
Exactly, and the UCF players, they enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure.
Mackenzie Milton says he 100% respects Scott Frost. Frost himself said he wouldn't be back unless a majority of players decided that I think an overwhelming majority of players decided that they wanted him and the staff back for this game.
Definitely.
They basically said if the kids don't want to, if they feel burned by us, and that's okay. We'll go away. We'll head out.
Yeah, but this is their season together.
But they said they had a lot of respect for Scott Frost, and this will do, I think, only good things for Scott Frost. Even if they lose, I think it'll be just fine for every party involved.
Definitely. And it's their season. That coaching staff with that group of players, they've been on this ride for a couple years now. They deserve to finish it out.
Exactly. It's not like Nebraska has anything to look forward to in the next 2 months.
Yeah, no, it's not like we're going bowling or anything.
All right. I think that's enough Scott Frost talk. I would talk about Scott Frost the entire time, but I feel we could ramble on for an hour about Scott Frost.
We could do well more than an hour, Nate. But
let's start talking about some awards.
Some awards? Like what awards, Nate? What awards went on this past week?
Well, there was the Heisman.
The Heisman?
Heisman?
Oh, the Heisman.
Baker Mayfield won in the least unsurprising Heisman ceremony I've ever watched, or I didn't watch because I didn't tune in.
Didn't even.
I got the update. I got the update on my phone.
Yep, same. We knew who was going to win. Kudos to him. Phenomenal season. Best player in college football, hands down. Not taking that away at all. I mean, his numbers are insane. Like, there's definitely no one to compare with Baker Mayfield. He was fourth in the nation in passing. He had 4,340 yards, 41 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. That's unreal. I mean, he
is one of the best players. He's probably the best offensive player I've ever seen in person, because I went down to Stillwater and I watched him play Oklahoma State 2 years ago, I think. I think it was 2 years ago. It was the year they made the playoffs. That's 2 years ago.
Yep, 2 years ago.
And he was incredible, and he made everybody else on the field look silly.
And that was sophomore.
That was his sophomore year, and he's improved every single year. And I can't even begin to describe how he looks this year. 200, his QB rating is 203, which is absurd. I mean, he just ran away with it. It was like Lamar Jackson, where last year.
Guess what his completion percentage is?
Well, I have the stats.
Oh, okay. Well,
right.
Right. Fine then.
I actually don't know. I didn't look. 68%.
71.
Oh, jeez.
71% completion rating for the season.
That's crazy.
Unreal. I mean, again, phenomenal season by Baker Mayfield. But looking at the Heisman, why only 3? The last couple years, they only invite 3. Why not the 5? Why was the entire world? Oh, excuse me.
Got a little something in your throat?
The Heisman just chokes me up, Nate. But no. The entire world almost handed Saquon Barkley the Heisman in September. The month of September, they're like, Saquon, you can just have it.
He's a September Heisman. It's an annual award.
They honestly should make one at this point. But he still had a phenomenal season.
Yes.
Why not bring him to New York? Mackenzie Milton, I mentioned this last week for UCF. He's got phenomenal yards right next to Baker Mayfield. I mean, not quite the same, but still. Why not bring him? Why not? He's 9th in the nation in passing. He has almost 4,000 yards. He's got 35 touchdowns and only 9 picks. That's the same as stats as Mason Rudolph on touchdowns and interceptions.
I can't tell you. And maybe it's because the Heisman ceremony, nobody wants to watch it. Posted a record low for the second year straight. Nobody wants to watch the Heisman Trophy ceremony, man.
No, not anymore. I mean,
It's just
I think, especially since 2009.
well, as a
it's just
Nebraska
turned
fan,
as a Nebraska fan, definitely since 2009, it's just gone way downhill.
because Sue should have won it. And
Sue
then
definitely should have won
2
it.
years ago.
2 years ago, Christian McCaffrey should have won it. I will fight anyone to their grave on that. Like there's no doubt in my mind that Christian McCaffrey was the best player in college football 2 years ago. Derrick Henry, phenomenal running back. Broken SEC record, Herschel Walker record, fantastic. McCaffrey broke an NCAA record of all-purpose yards, and was just absolutely incredible. He single-handedly destroyed. I mean, not very hard, but he single-handedly destroyed Iowa in the Rose Bowl in like 8 minutes. It took him like 8 minutes to score 21 points or something like that. And McCaffrey had like 200 yards after that.
Yeah, it's just not a very interesting award.
It isn't anymore.
It's the best quarterback, it's the best running back, and I know that's every person's argument as to why the Heisman, stinks over the last couple of years, but
All time, though. I mean, there's been numerous Heisman snubs where it's just like, okay, they were a fantastic player, no doubt in my mind, but they are not the best player overall in college football.
yeah. And this year, it's not so bad, because I can even admit that Baker Mayfield is the best player in college football. He won the Maxwell Award. He won the Walter Camp Player of the Year Award. And I'm fine with that. I think he was the best player this year overall.
Definitely. And like last year, Lamar Jackson, easily the best player. But so many times, too, it's based off your number of wins.
Yes.
I mean, Saquon Barkley is definitely one of the better players in college football, but his team lost a couple times, so he doesn't even get invited to New York.
Exactly. Lamar Jackson,
he got invited. I mean, just because he's got the numbers.
He posted a better season than last year.
Yeah.
when he won the Heisman.
Right.
It's a weird award with weird voting and weird people that give the award.
It's just weird. It's just weird, Nate. Yeah.
Sorry. It's the best I got.
That's the best description. Is weird.
I don't know. I don't watch it. It's a boring show.
It is. No, it is.
I was at a bowling party for work. I was at a work bowling party for holidays, and I did that instead of watching some guy win the Heisman. He lifted up a trophy and gave a speech. Congrats, man.
I feel you. It wasn't that interesting.
No,
I was studying. I went and studied for an hour.
I don't.
Or a couple hours. Like I was studying finance over watching the Heisman. That's how bad this has gotten.
But still, congrats to Baker Mayfield, easily the best player. I'll just run you through the rest of the awards.
What we got?
Real fast. Maxwell, best quarterback, right?
Yep.
Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
Walter Camp, Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
Coach of the Year, Scott Frost.
See, we got our boy good. He's got some hardware.
Exactly. Jim Thorpe, best defensive back. Minka Fitzpatrick, really good.
Okay.
Who do you think's better?
I would argue Josh Jackson from Iowa. Dude was phenomenal.
He was real good.
Like that 3 interception game against Ohio State, he could have just handed it to him after that game. Walking into the tunnel, like, here's the Thorpe, take it.
Yeah.
I mean, Fitzpatrick, again, phenomenal player. I thought Joshua Jackson had a better season for Iowa.
It wouldn't surprise me. I'd have to see the stats in both of them. Minka Fitzpatrick is also good. Davey O'Brien, best. I guess that's the best quarterback award. Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
Remington Trophy best center. Billy Price, Ohio State. He was actually pretty good. I remember him when he was. I don't think he gave up very many sacks. It's been a while since I've seen the Ohio State stat line and team stats, but he was pretty good. The Lou Groza, best place kicker. Matt Gay from Utah. Not much to say about him. Butkus Award, best linebacker. Roquan Smith, Georgia.
Okay.
You want to hear a nice stat?
What's the stat?
How many missed tackles does he have against the run?
4.
0.
Oh, good God.
He has missed 0 tackles against the run.
He keeps that. He give him the award for next year too. Like, that's unreal.
That's incredible. That's an incredible statistic.
I mean, I don't know how to think of that. I mean, we see so many missed tackles with Nebraska. I can't think of somebody actually tackling every single time the ball is near them.
Exactly.
I've never seen that. I haven't seen that in so long.
It's
unheard of.
He's an astounding player, and he's going to do some good things in the NFL.
Oh, for sure.
Doak Walker, best running back. Bryce Love. Saquon Barkley, unfortunately, goes awardless.
I mean, he got some Big Ten honors.
I mean, national awards list.
Yeah, national.
But Bryce Love definitely deserved it. He was definitely the better running back over the course of the season.
So you said Minka Fitzpatrick. He was the Thorpe, right?
Yeah.
I don't see him on this interception list.
Does he not have an interception?
He does not have an interception on the season.
How many interceptions does Josh Jackson have?
He's tied for first with 7, and he has 2 pick sixes.
That's incredible. I agree with you. Josh Jackson got robbed. Josh Jackson for the Jim Thorpe Award, 2016.
Bama player. There has to be at least one Bama player win some award. I mean, is it really a college football season if a Bama player doesn't win an award?
True.
I'm scrolling through the entire list of people who've gotten a pick in college football this season. I do not see Fitzpatrick.
Dang, that's incredible. Blitnikoff, best wide receiver, James Washington, Oklahoma State, my boy.
Okay.
He's real good. Hopefully he doesn't bust out like Justin Blackman in the NFL.
Justin Blackman. Oh, haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah, neither have I.
And I mean, Washington definitely deserved. Led the nation in receiving. Guess what his average reception was? Average yards per catch.
9.6.
20.62.
Oh my gosh.
He had 69 catches on the season for over 1,400 yards. 12 touchdowns. That's unreal.
That's incredible.
Over 20 yards a catch.
I can't comprehend that. Best tight end, Mark Andrews, Oklahoma.
Oh, definitely.
He was real good.
He was great to watch this season. I mean, playing the tight end position is unbelievably
It's hard.
Unbelievable. You got to block like a lineman.
You got to catch like a wide receiver.
Like, so many people forget about how difficult of a position that is to play.
And if you can do both, if you can be that Rob Gronkowski-esque player, and I mean Mark Andrews, he's no Rob Gronkowski, but if you can draw linebackers,
I would argue that he was Baker Mayfield's best receiver on the season.
I don't dispute that. He was incredible.
Incredible route runner, found the holes in the defense, and he made phenomenal catches. I watched him all season, and there were some big games he'd go up for balls. Like, he's got people draped on him, and he just comes down with the catch. Like, makes some diving catches. He's a great athlete. I'm excited to watch where he goes. He's a great tight end. I love watching good tight ends. So,
all right.
What
Outland Trophy, best interior lineman, Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver, he's so good, dude. From
Remind
Houston.
me who he played. Okay. Oh, yes.
The only 5-star recruit to ever go to a G5 school, basically.
Yes.
Well, because he went to high school in Houston. His brother plays for Houston, but
He was great.
So good.
I remember watching him now in a couple of Houston's games earlier this season, and that's all they could talk about was just following Ed Oliver up the line, like run the ball and follow behind him.
All right, so there's 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards: the Bednarik and the Nagurski, and they're Minka Fitzpatrick won 1. He must just. I actually didn't watch too many Alabama games this year.
No.
To be completely honest.
They didn't play anybody good, so why would you want to watch?
And then the Nagurski was won by Bradley Chubb, who was really good. In a lot of his big time games, you could just see how much of an impact he had. And then just a bunch of weird ones: academics, community service. Most inspirational goes to Iowa Children's Hospital.
Oh, definitely. Fantastic new tradition. I love the Iowa Wave.
What do they do there? I'm not actually the most caught up on that.
Well, actually, it's really cool. So they have a brand new children's hospital that's right next door to Kinnick Stadium, and the top floor of it looks down into the stadium. So
okay. Yeah, I thought that was Minnesota for some reason.
No, all the it's in Iowa City, and so all the children who are being treated at the hospital. Majority cancer patients. They'll be up in that top floor. They're going to step there and watch the game from like way up above. And at the end of every first quarter in Iowa City, all the fans turn and wave to all the kids up in the top floor.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
I like it a lot. That was a very special tradition. Great for not only Iowa, not only like the Big Teners, but just great for football in general.
Yeah, it needs some positive press.
Those are the kind of traditions that you want to start, and those are the kind of traditions that like mean the most when it comes down to it. At the end of the day, this is a game. It's a lot of fun to watch. It's a lot of fun to talk about, but it's about bringing people together and like relax and watching some football.
Yeah, it's an excellent tradition, and I hope it continues in the future. And that's the College Football Awards. That's all of them.
I mean, I know Minka Fitzpatrick is a great player, but like, I'm not finding a lot of stats on him. I mean, probably just because people just wanted to avoid him. Which
Exactly. I'm sure that's more of what happened. And my mic in this booth just keeps falling. It does not want to stay in the same place.
It's the end of the semester, Nate. I tell you, like
All right, let's.
The entire school, everybody just wants to go on break. Even these microphones.
Even the microphones. It just keeps falling down my face as I try to talk into it, and I'm not happy about this. I'm gonna speak to the manager.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, go call Rick.
I'll call Rick. I'll see what's up. All right, we're done with awards now. Let's get into the Bulls.
The Bulls.
We're 30 minutes in. We're halfway through. Let's talk about them. Do we want to just run through each of them by day?
By the day, yeah. I mean, we're starting up on this Saturday already. We got 5 of them. 5 of them on Saturday. I'm going to have to get in my blog and start typing quick after my finals. We got a lot of games coming up. First one, R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. Big one coming, I know. Troy and North Texas. Nate, you know anything?
No, I don't, actually. Troy beat LSU.
Troy did beat LSU. A lot of speed on the outside. That's what I've seen most with Troy. North Texas, they just lost quite handedly to Lane Kiffin and his Fighting Owls.
Oh, that's right, they did.
In the conference championship. Lane, I think, put up close to 50 on them or something like that. So
I'd probably take Troy just because they're name recognition. Some of these G5 against G5 teams, they're really hard to.
Yeah, we don't see a lot of their games. It's hard to make a full-on prediction. I personally think I'm going to be going with Troy. I think the speed on the edge, especially, I mean, again, they beat LSU, so that's a big standing point there. They've only lost 2 games all season. One was to Boise State on the road, and then South Alabama, which is a tough G5 school. But Brandon Silver's at quarterback, almost 3,000 yards, 13 TDs. Like, again, they got playmakers, so I'll take the Trojans in that one.
I will too. And then there's the Auto Nation Cure Bowl, Western Kentucky versus Georgia State, the Hilltoppers.
Hilltoppers.
I don't know much about either of these teams either.
Again, no, we're gonna struggle with some of these.
This is what you listen to our show for. This hard hitting sports news and facts of we don't know anything about these teams.
Well, I mean, I will say, the Hilltoppers, Western Kentucky, they lost 4 out of their last 5 games.
I think momentum's a really big thing in college football.
Yeah.
If you have bad momentum, it translates really poorly. Just look at Miami as they ended their season, I think.
Your dark horse? Was that
my dark horse? Yes. But
although, I mean, Georgia State, now they've lost their last 2 as well. And one of them to Idaho, who is going to the Division II football next year.
It's kind of a rough game for both teams. And I don't know much statistically about either of them. Yeah, I don't know much about their players.
No.
But losing 4 or 5 is not where you want to be as a bowl team. So I'll take the other side.
You take Georgia State?
I'll take Georgia State.
I don't know.
I don't know any of their players, but I like momentum's bigger than you might think.
These are hard. I think I'll probably go Georgia State. No, I don't know. It's G5. I mean,
I'm watching it, but
we'll watch it.
I won't pretend like I know very much about either of these teams. I'll put it that way.
For sure.
Let's talk about 2 teams that we do know stuff about.
The actual big game on Saturday, Las Vegas Bowl, number 25 Boise State and the Oregon Ducks.
The coachless Oregon Ducks.
The
taggerless Oregon Ducks. Cristobal.
What a poor situation for Oregon, but it worked out pretty well for the players at least. Oregon-wise, they're just like, why didn't we just hire this guy to begin with?
Yeah.
But, no, I mean, Willie Taggart jumping to Oregon, jumping out after a year. Again, we mentioned last week how the players very excited because they wanted to be with Cristobal to begin with.
Yeah.
So they're excited. So I think they'll play a little bit better. I believe Justin Herbert's coming back for this game.
That's the big thing. And
when he plays, they're so much better.
And Boise State, they're a good team. They're a solid team. We watched them in a couple games earlier in the season. But they have some issues with stopping the pass. They have some issues with with running the ball.
They give up over 200 yards passing a game.
And Justin Herbert is a great quarterback, and he'll make you pay if you can't defend him. You know, we know that from personal experience as Nebraska fans.
And they'll definitely lean in on Royce Freeman, too.
Exactly.
All-time leading rusher at Oregon.
I just think Oregon has a few too many weapons for Boise State to handle, and I'm not going to take Boise State again. I picked them over Baylor last year, and Baylor kind of dumped on them.
So, Nate, do you remember the last time we saw Oregon and Boise State play?
Oh, LeGarrette Blount punched some dude?
LeGarrette Blount. Do you know who the young man holding back LeGarrette Blount was back in 2009?
Was it Scott Frost?
It was Scott Frost. Wide receiver coach at Oregon, saving Blunt's rest of the season. I mean, he only got suspended a couple games for it, but
no, he got suspended the entire season for it. Yeah, he did.
Probably, I mean, at least saving his NFL career, maybe. I don't know. But Scott Frost. He was the boy holding LeGarrette Blount back.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
that was a nice guess.
I remember watching that game, and my aunt texted me afterwards, and she's like, "Hey, did you see LeGarrette Blount punch that guy?" I'm like, "Yeah, I definitely saw that." And she's like, "Did you see who was holding him back?" I'm
oh
like,
my gosh,
it's Scott Frost.
That's ridiculous. But yes, I will be taking Oregon. I think they'll be fired up to play under their new coach.
For sure.
And I think Boise State just doesn't have defensive tools to stop all of Oregon's weapons when they're
surprisingly only a 7-point spread on that. I think that's just because Oregon's defense is kind of a mess.
You know, and new coaching.
Yeah.
It's just really tough to predict.
Boise State does have a solid quarterback, Brett Ripon. 2,500 yards, 14 TDs, only 4 picks. He takes care of the ball pretty well.
Yeah, he does. I'm just more concerned. I don't think Boise State's going to be able to stop them defensively.
That's fair.
Next up, we just got a couple of G5 v G5s, Marshall, Colorado State, Middle Tennessee versus Arkansas State. It's like every low-tier bowl matchup. You just kind of zone, you kind of take them in.
Yeah.
You go, I don't know much about either of these teams. I mean, we know Arkansas State. Never mind.
We saw Arkansas
Never
State
mind.
in person. I'm taking the Red Wolves 10 out of 10 times. They were again, Nebraska was not a good team this year.
No.
But Arkansas State, very solid, impressive defensive line. They're honestly, I think one of the better defensive lines, underrated in the nation, just because they have a lot of talent and a lot of experience there. And their quarterback, Justice Hansen, 3,600 yards, 34 TDs on the season.
Yeah, he's a good quarterback. He likes to throw it around and
demolished Nebraska's whatever secondary you want to call ours, if you want to say we have one or not, but
TBD to be determined. Yeah. But they can definitely toss it around, and I'll pick them mostly because I don't want our close win to be devalued.
It doesn't matter, Nate.
We need all the
all the
props we can get.
Oh my gosh.
We beat these guys. All right, December 19th, Akron versus the Fightin' Kiffins.
Fightin' Kiffins. Oh,
Florida Atlantic's sneaky good.
A lot of offense under Lane Kiffin. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
But I mean, when he's not too busy tweeting, he coaches a pretty good football team.
Exactly. I would never hire Lane Kiffin, but I've kind of come to see him as pretty entertaining over the years.
That's for sure.
I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I don't know how well they're going to do. They got drubbed in their first game of the season.
Yeah.
Who was it against? I'm not entirely sure. I know they got beat by like 30 or 40.
Navy.
Yeah, they got
42-19.
They got thwacked by Navy and Wisconsin.
I mean, a lot of people got thwacked by we got thwacked by Wisconsin.
But they got Jason Driscoll. I wonder if he has any relation to Jeff Driscoll from embattled Florida QB.
Very, very good possibility. I'm going to go search this.
Yeah, but Jason Driscoll throwing for about 2,000 yards, QBR about 75, 13 touchdowns. So they can.
He is the brother of Jeff Driscoll.
Awesome. I'm glad I found that connection.
Oh my goodness. Only Lane Kiffin would have that.
It's Jeff Driscoll got ran out of Florida. I think he played for Louisiana Lafayette for a year afterwards.
Yeah. Who knows?
But regardless, we're not talking about his brother. We're talking about Jason Driscoll. 2,000 yards, 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He can throw it, and I think Florida Atlantic has the offense to beat Akron, who I don't know anything about Akron. I know they're the Zips, they're the Kangaroos.
Hey, they're on our schedule next year for Nebraska.
I hope they lose really bad. Then I guess.
Let's get some of these lower tier bowls out quick. Louisiana Tech and SMU on the 20th.
SMU lost their coach. I'm going to take the other team that didn't lose their coach. Yeah, I mean, you talk about stuff like Temple last year, who lost their coach and then looked awful.
Very, very poor performance.
Yeah, you talk about Houston, who lost their coach and did not look very good.
Yep.
I'm not going to take a G5 team who just lost their coach.
Are you gonna?
That's a flat rule, in my opinion.
But UCF counts because they still kind of have their coach.
He's coaching. It doesn't count.
Okay, that's fair.
Temple versus Florida International.
Florida International, surprisingly good season for the Panthers. 8-4 finish. Apart from they had a few blowouts, but I mean, still much better than normal Florida International standards by any means.
Exactly.
Second in the Conference USA East, falling behind their rival Florida Atlantic.
Yeah, good for them.
But
they did a good job.
Could be an interesting team.
Bahamas Bowl UAB back from the brink and bowl season, first year back.
Fantastic. I'm such a fan. And they get a fight against Frank Solich and the Ohio Bobcats.
That'll be a fun game.
Fearless Frankie. I'm excited to watch that one.
Yeah, Bill Clark, Conference USA Coach of the Year.
Good. They deserve that. Glad to have them back in college football. And, hey, making it to your bowl game first year after resurrecting your program, big step forward.
Exactly. Good to see them be back. Good to see them beat that Alabama Board of Trustees meddling. That was a nasty story a few years ago.
What all was it?
Well, the story goes that Paul Bryant Jr., who's Bear Bryant's son, he's part of the Alabama regional board. Okay. Like, you know how the UNL system is UNL, UNO, and UNK?
Yep.
It's the same for Alabama.
Okay.
It's Alabama, UAB, and like a couple of other schools.
Gotcha.
And I think Auburn too. I think it's like the entire school system of higher education in Alabama is like, kind of like that.
Yeah.
And so Paul Bryant Jr. did not like UAB. He had a personal vendetta against them, and he's basically the guy who single-handedly shut down their program.
Gotcha.
And so they got that figured out. They got UAB back. So it's good to have them back.
I just remember my favorite part of the whole UAB thing was after they said that they were going to dismantle their football program, on ESPN there was a story about a little kid who wrote a letter and sent in $1 in the mail to UAB athletic program and was like, "Hey, I want to help you guys get your football program back." And he wrote a letter to the team and was saying how he was sad to see them go, so he wanted to donate $1 to help them get back.
That's sweet.
I'm like, that was fun.
All right, Central Michigan versus Wyoming.
The famous Idaho Potato Bowl. What could be better, Nate?
A lot of things.
You don't want to see the Chippewas and the Cowboys?
I mean, Craig Bowl, he's a Nebraska guy.
Craig Bowl, Josh Allen, stud quarterback. I like the Wyoming. Best season for him.
No,
I think he got a little banged up, a few injuries. Let's see, he missed the last couple games, so I don't even know if he's going to be playing for hopefully he can make it back for the bowl game, but definitely not the season we were expecting after his phenomenal season last year.
Yep.
But we'll see. Maybe he comes back for his senior year and kind of puts a new light on that NFL career that people were talking about with him.
All right, let's get into the big boys. Texas Tech, South Florida. I think South Florida's going to win this game.
Brandon Flowers is all you need to know.
Quentin Flowers.
Quentin Flowers. Sorry, Quentin Flowers. Brandon Flowers is the safety in the NFL. But Quentin Flowers, that's all you need to know. South Florida's going to. I see a lot of points going up in this one, just knowing Texas Tech.
Yeah, not UAB. South Florida USF is not going to be able to stop Texas Tech either. But
no, a lot of points in that one.
But I don't think Texas Tech is going to be able to stop Quentin Flowers. Quentin Flowers is going to run and pass all over them.
Oh yeah,
2,600 yards passing.
He had more offensive yards against UCF in their final game of the season than the entire UCF offense himself. Yes. He had over 500 himself. It was unreal.
It's incredible how well he played.
Why can't he go to New York? Just let him sit in on the Heisman. Let him be on the TV. Let him be on TV. Why not?
I don't get it, man. The Heisman's a mystery.
Oh.
San Diego State versus Army.
Hey, Army, first time beating Navy back-to-back years since 95, 96. First time holding the Commander-in-Chief's trophy since 96.
I like it.
They're,
Good for Army.
yeah, go Army. Beat Navy.
App State versus Toledo. Other G5 teams we don't really know very much about.
Logan Woodside, Toledo?
I don't know very much about Toledo, man.
Got a good quarterback. That's all you need to know.
I'll take Toledo then. I'll trust your judgment on that.
The Rockets.
Sorry, we just kind of have 15 minutes left. I kind of want to speed this
up. Get to the big bowls. Yeah, we don't need to be talking all these.
All right, Fresno State versus Houston. Okay, yada, yada, yada. Let's just skip to the first bowl that, as you scroll down the list, what's the first one that catches your eye?
Stanford TCU. No? You're not impressed?
No, I'm impressed. I want to see it. I think Bryce Love's going to run all over them.
I think
TCU,
so too.
I hate being the hot taker and being like, TCU exposed, but they kind of got exposed the last couple of games.
They definitely did, but Patterson in a bowl game. I don't know. Gary Patterson knows how to fire up his team for bowl games, and I think Stanford, again, I'm definitely going to probably roll with Bryce Love and Stanford.
Yes.
What was that stat you told me about Stanford the other day?
Oh, they have 6 Heisman runner-ups, the most in FBS history.
Oh, yeah, no, like 3 of them would just in the past decade.
Yeah.
Like Toby Gerhart, Christian McCaffrey, who should have won it, and then Bryce Love. Like 6 Heisman runner-ups.
I'm trying to think of the other ones. Maybe John Elway was a runner-up at one point.
I don't know.
It's crazy. I don't know.
Nobody cares about the runner-up state.
No, nobody cares about
it. It's just the Heisman.
Just the Heisman.
And then the next game that day, or I guess it's on at the same time. Wow, I'm gonna have to be flipping channels on that one. But Washington State, Michigan State.
That's a weird one. I kind of like Michigan State, honestly. I've been not impressed with Washington State.
The second half of the season, they fell apart, and I was really upset because I thought Hercules Mataafa was just gonna demolish everybody in his path. But yeah, kind of fell apart the second half of the season. Really gave up a lot of points. A lot of yards on the ground, and Michigan State dual threat quarterback. This looks like a good one for the Big Ten.
I do. I think they're going to win. I feel like this is going to go very similar to last year's game against Minnesota. Where everybody was like, oh, they're just going to throw. Luke Falk's just going to throw on them all game.
Yards
and then, no, he just kind of whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like it'll go very,
Luke Falk
very
gets
similar.
A little too much hype for his performances sometimes.
Yeah, your dark horse, not good.
I know. I was up high on Luke Falk. I thought he was really going to kind of put it together senior year and not have those like just bad games that he's had throughout his career. Flopped again.
I feel you. Let's go to some of the not G6, but the top bowls.
One more though. Kentucky Northwestern.
I'm not interested, man.
What? Northwestern, phenomenal hot streak. We got to see them live.
I know.
Like, great team to watch. And Kentucky's been good this year, man.
It doesn't excite.
That could be a good bowl.
It doesn't excite me.
I think that could turn out to be a good game.
I don't deny it's going to be a good game, and I'm going to watch it, but I'm not excited. Nobody comes up to you at a bar and says, "Hey, man, how about that Northwestern Kentucky game?"
Yeah. We'll see about that. Maybe that'll change.
Let's talk about some bowls with some real stakes.
All right, get some big ones going, Nate.
Washington, Penn State. Who you got?
Man, this one's tough.
Penn State.
I think
this
State.
isn't even a hard choice for me.
No.
Washington hasn't looked good either.
They've fallen off quite a bit from last year. And I thought Penn State was a national championship caliber team. Kind of fell apart in those couple games.
Jake Browning.
Jake Browning.
Not looking good.
No.
He's regressed this season pretty badly.
Junior year was not good for him.
And I think that's going to be good because I think he's going to stick around for another year.
Yeah, I think that would be very helpful for Washington. Helpful for him to just develop more. But, yeah, he dropped off by about 1,000 yards. His completion percentage did go up, but he went from 43 touchdowns to 18.
Yeah, that's not great.
Although losing, what was that wide receiver? Ross?
Yeah, John Ross.
John Ross. That's a big loss to your wide receiver core, but
it'll be tough for them. But I think Penn State will get it together, play a complete game.
What about the Cotton Bowl? USC, Ohio State. 2 conference champions, snubbed on the playoff.
This is probably going to be one of the better games of the bowl season.
I think that could be very interesting.
And it just,
JT Barrett healthy.
it'll come down to which Ohio State team shows up. Is it the one that lost to 30 to Iowa? Is it the one that beat up Wisconsin and looked like they were in control of the entire game?
Yeah.
I think they'll win. I think they have a higher upside than USC does.
Really?
I mean, total top
You're
to
going
bottom.
against your boy Darnold?
I love Darnold. I really do. But I think Ohio State, from top to bottom, starting unit to starting unit, is the better team. And I think they have the better units. I think their defensive line, Darnold takes a lot of sacks. He surprisingly doesn't do well under pressure. He's thrown a lot of interceptions this year. And Ohio State's defensive line is incredible.
That's probably going to be the biggest turning point in the game is Ohio State's defense and them making plays.
Exactly.
Again, USC's very opportunistic defense, and JT Barrett is not that accurate, Nate.
Nope.
We've talked about this.
All right, let's talk.
That's going to be a good game.
Miami, Wisconsin, a couple teams that miss their winning ins.
On Wisconsin.
I'm Wisconsin too. I thought Miami looked very disorganized over the last few weeks. And I think I feel like that'll carry over.
Like
UCF versus Auburn.
Well, I want to go with the fighting Scott Frost.
I'm gonna go with Scott Frost. Pencil me in. They're gonna win this. That's a me fanboying out on Scott Frost, but they're gonna win this. Trust me.
This is gonna be a shootout. It's gonna be who has the ball last. I think honestly, like Auburn's defense, very very solid. They have yet to face an offense of this caliber.
Yes.
They have not played an offense this proficient and just this overall good this season. They played an early Clemson offense who were still trying to get things going with Kelly Bryant. Bama offense solid. I don't know. This is just going to be a lot of speed for them to keep up with. I think I'll probably end up going with Auburn. I definitely want Scott Frost to win, but if I want to be right, I think I'm probably going to go with Auburn.
I don't think it's a bad choice. I'm just kind of fanboying out.
That's okay. That's what I did with Western Michigan last year against Wisconsin. So I'll take the high road or the smart road this time.
All right, we only got a few minutes left, so let's talk about the big boys, the playoffs.
The playoffs?
Yeah, let's talk about the playoffs.
Talking about the playoffs.
Alex, which one of these games is more interesting to you?
Bama Clemson, round 3. Bama Clemson round 3 is going to be, honestly, I think it could be better than last year's game.
I think it could be too, more because I think the teams are more in balance with each other.
Possibly,
it's one of those games where I say, logically, on paper, Clemson should win by several touchdowns.
Yes.
But then that voice goes off in your head and it says, Are you really going to bet against
Alabama?
Are you really going to bet against
Tide.
Nick Saban? Are you really going to bet against Nick Saban? Really, Nate? And I'm just like, maybe I don't want to bet against Nick Saban.
No, you're right. This is, again, Clemson looks like the overall best team in college football. Top to bottom.
Their defense is incredible. Dexter Pittman, Christian Wilkins, their defensive line, Austin Walker.
Oh, my gosh.
I cannot tell you how good their defensive line is. You just have to watch some highlights of them this year. They are so good. They have so many threats on offense. Hunter Renfrow, Travis Feaster.
I would argue the best receiving core.
Deion Kane.
Yeah, best receiving core. Deion Kane, Hunter Renfrow, Ray McLeod. That's just their top 3. They all have over 500 yards on the season.
Tavares Choice, Feaster, Etienne. They have so many weapons. Kelly Bryant.
So many.
I mean, he's no Deshaun Watson, but he can throw it. He can run it.
He's a much better running quarterback. And when he runs, he's honestly like another running back. It's he and the two young guys, Feaster and Etienne, 744 for Etienne, 659 for Feaster, 646 on the season for Kelly Bryant. Then Choice you throw in with another 312, all with multiple touchdowns. Like, there's just not an easy way to stop this offense.
No. It's going to be frustrating for a Bama defense that really hasn't faced an offense as good as they have all year.
No, again.
And I mean, Auburn was beaten up. Jarrett Stidham was coming off some battered games. Kerryon Drake. Kerryon Johnson. I got him confused with
Kenyon
Drake.
Watching the Monday night game last night.
When we were watching the Monday night game last night. But Kerryon Johnson was beat up. They have not faced an offense as good as the one they're going to face today. But then
Alabama.
That voice gets in your head. It's like, are you really going to bet against Nick Saban, Alex?
I still think Clemson is
I do
the
too.
best team. And again, the reason I say that this could be better than last year's game was phenomenal. Incredible national championship game.
Yes.
But I think this could be better just because each team has won a game the past couple years. So it's like this is the tiebreaker game between the two. And a lot of people want to see it. Like, is Bama really supposed to be in the playoffs? Or are they really supposed to be in just because they're Bama? Or is it because they're Bama and they're supposed to be in?
This game makes me nervous, and I have no investment in the
Yeah, I know. It's
mostly because I've been so pro Alabama shouldn't be in the playoffs. And like I said, that voice, man.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a fun one. I
predict Clemson by 2 scores.
2 scores? Okay.
2 scores. It's not like going to be it's going to be 10. It's going to be 13. It's going to be 14. But I think it'll be a very similar game to Auburn. They're going to make Jalen Hurts very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They're going to bottle up some of their running backs. Bo Scarborough is not going to be as effective.
I think Clemson's defense is just a little too much for Bama's offense.
I do too. Jalen Hurts is just not good enough, I think, to go against that caliber of defense.
Yeah. Now, speaking of a good defense versus a really good offense, we got the other playoff game, Georgia and Oklahoma. This
is one of those games that makes me go back to the old stat. You know what the average margin of victory in the first round of the playoffs is? Like 22 points.
Well, part of that just because we've been sending crappy Big Ten teams into the playoffs the last couple of years, they haven't scored a point.
No, they have not been.
But this to me just looks like a very fast car driving into a very, very tough brick wall.
I'll take the offense over the defense.
You're gonna take the. What about the Heisman curse, Nate?
No.
Heisman curse doesn't exist anymore?
No. Oklahoma's gonna win. Oh, now I'm just thinking about all the times I've taken the offense over the defense and lost.
I don't know. Georgia, like Auburn, they had quite the offense. Kerryon Johnson, not quite 100%, but still, they had a pretty solid offense. Georgia let them score once.
You know what? This
at the very first drive of the game, and then Auburn never sniffed the end zone again.
No, but they were so beat up.
They were.
Alabama just kind of abused them.
Oklahoma's a much healthier team and probably a much more talented offense in my opinion, especially with Baker Mayfield on the field. That dude does not lose.
No, he doesn't. He's the
best.
Does
not lose.
He's the best player in football, and I think he's going to lead to a double digits win over Georgia. I think he's going to win by 2 or 3 scores. Okay. I don't think this is that close. I don't think Georgia has the offensive talent to keep up with Baker Mayfield.
That's kind of where I draw the line is, okay, Georgia might be able to hold down Baker Mayfield for a little bit, but he's still Baker Mayfield. He's going to get his points. He's going to get his probably...
He's going to throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, he'll get his points no matter what. And I just don't think Jake Fromm and that run game will have enough to keep
And I like
on.
a lot of their running backs. I like Michelle. I like Chubb.
Yeah.
But they're just not
solid
good enough.
Solid team, but this is a little too much offense to keep up with.
And it looks like Robbie Anderson is going to be a part of the game.
Yep.
So that's really good for Oklahoma. He was accused of sexual assault a week ago or so.
Yeah,
but it looks like he hasn't been suspended from the team or anything. So it looks like he's going to be good to go.
So they got their leading rusher, and I don't know. I think you're right. I think too much offense will be a little too overwhelming for Georgia in this one. And I'm hoping to see a Clemson-Oklahoma final just because I'd rather not see Bama have a shot at the national title.
I think Clemson and Oklahoma are the best 2 teams this year.
I think that too, yeah.
And I think the playoffs are going to show it, but then that voice comes. It's like, are you really betting against Alabama?
We'll see. I don't know. We got a lot of great bowl games to go through. I'll be making all my predictions on the blog, College Football Know-It-All, so
exactly.
Excited about that.
I'm not entirely sure if I'll be making the guest appearance like I did last year.
You can still do it if you want.
We'll see.
I beat you in the bowl prediction. You just don't want to lose again.
No, well, you beat me by 1, okay?
Hey, that's a win.
All right.
That's a win.
Don't do this to me, man.
That's a win.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, I'll be back. I'll come back.
Okay.
I'll write stuff.
All right.
Maybe it won't be as in depth as last year, but I'll send you. Some stuff.
I want to throw this out too. On my blog predictions this year, I was 97 and 55, so that's a 63.8% win percentage right there.
Yeah, you did pretty good. It was a good year for you.
Not too bad on my predictions.
And I think this was a good year for for the show. It was a good semester.
Yeah, great start for us, kicking it off with the second string.
We'll be back next semester for sure. This is our last show for the next couple of weeks. We're going to take the entire Christmas break off, but we'll be back next semester on a different time.
Probably a different day. We're looking, hopefully, Monday nights. Probably the same time at 7. But
yes.
We'll definitely let all you listeners know. Thank you for tuning in. For Nate Bielbach, I'm Alex Fernando. Go Big Red, and let's have a fantastic bowl season.
Merry Christmas, everybody, or Happy Holidays. Have a good one.